Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
And there he is, Alien Addict in the house tonight. It's good when you can big up yourself. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the show. Yes, it's live. Good. We're going to talk about Stephen Greer's new documentary. I forgot the name of it. Rich. I won't bring Rich on just yet. He's occupied. Welcome to the show, Lee. From Musty Audio, my friend.
It's called the Cosmic Hoax.
I was about to bring Rich on, but it looked like, well, no, it actually probably was ready. The Cosmic Hoax. And what is it? What, Rich? An Expose?
I was ready. I was enjoying a cigar before the show.
Oh, you've got a cigar.
That's right, kids.
I love a cigar. If I smoked a cigar in the house, my wife.
I shouldn't be doing this.
She'd destroy me.
Oh, I'm gonna murder myself.
No, you're like Arnold Schwarzenegger because he what is it? I don't need to ask the smokers, doggy. I
don't have to ask nobody. It's my place, my house. I pay the bills.
And also, I'm thinking about the final guest, the most sexiest man in ufology,
without a doubt.
There he is.
There he is. You guys are far too kind. Yeah. It's interesting hearing it come from faces with beards, but
he knows it, and he won't put himself in high def, right? Yeah, it's 720, so we can't see the perfectness of this man.
Why are you giving away my secret, Rich? I mean, we're live
because
right
I used to do it.
I mean, you still do it, except you look good in high def. We can see every little detail.
Yeah, that's why I got the glasses on. Forget about it.
Wrinkles. What?
I don't have any wrinkles.
Just some crow's feet, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But we are here to speak about the most buff man in ufology.
This guy.
He used to be you, Rich, but you've stopped going. Have you started up again? He started back at the gym.
Who, me?
Yeah, he's starting back.
Come on, I almost died. No, I'm working out at home.
Well, Lee almost died the other day, but then I realized he'd had a shave.
Yeah, I'm not digging it. I only do it
it
once,
looks
maybe
good
twice
now.
a year.
But you look like a boiled prawn when you first did it.
Yeah, and I find it gives me the illusion of chin as well.
A
What
broiled.
do you mean illusion?
At least I look like I've got that, like, and I always say it on the show, but he does. It's quite embarrassing when you look at it in this light. It's like a patchiness. There is full hair there. Anyway, enough of the beards. People are sick of hearing the beards. Stephen Greer's highly anticipated documentary. I've watched it now, I think, 4 times.
Well, you're in.
And on
good flip.
I watched you, Rich, showing it. Did you get a claim for that? Did you get that sorted out?
Well, no. I mean, we all know we couldn't monetize it anyway, right? But I got a claim from A&E because I think it's going to be used in a documentary that's going to be on A&E. But he should have said, you're going to get a claim, but don't worry. He should have said that, but he rushed it out, I think, and didn't test it to see what would happen.
Know.
Maybe he didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I'm not upset, but just made me a little edgy.
I got a claim a few years ago when I was sticking up for him over the this thing, the little dude. No.
Really?
Yeah. So it was back when Gary Nolan that was working with Stephen Greer on the Sirius documentary,
right?
And he took that the evidence to TTSA. Then all of a sudden, TTSA released the fact that it was in fact a fetus. When I did this, I got a copyright claim, but not a strike. It was just like kind of like you can't earn any revenue off this. I don't even think I earned revenue back then either. But it was like it said this is fine to use, but you can't have any adverts. And it was from Stephen Greer. I don't think he's aware of this. I think he's got some sort of bot,
of course, yeah,
that does it for him. So
yeah, you're right.
You could do with that, Rich. You'd make a fortune off certain people.
What do you mean?
You know, people that play your videos and calling you all sorts of horrible names.
You mean like a guy whose name ends in L? Is that what you're talking about?
I have no idea.
Okay, me too.
There's loads of people's names that end with L.
Yeah, but there's only one who talks about me.
He's such a beautiful man. I wish I could see his face just once.
Oh, I have pictures.
Send me. I need to see.
I forgot to tell you. Yeah, some of his friends, they hate him, so they're sending me all this stuff.
Oh.
I never talk about him. I don't want to give him the glory.
I'd like to have a conversation with the man, but anyway, without further ado, we're just rambling here, and it's my fault. So come on, ramblers, let's get rambling. Stephen Greer's new documentary. Who should we go to first? I think I'm going to go to I'm going to go to you, Richard.
Me?
Because,
I was pointing at this guy.
No, when you did when you replayed it on your show,
yeah,
it's the quietest I've ever seen you be. You just played it.
Well, I wanted to play it 10 minutes at a time. That was the goal.
Mm.
Yeah, I wanted people to get involved in it, watch it, and I didn't want to talk too much. No, the documentary was supposed to be played in its entirety, which I did. But and you can't edit it, which I did, and I just paused it, and I talked for 2 minutes. Yeah, I played the whole thing pretty quick. Like,
are you still Team Greer?
What? Oh, look at him! He let himself go a little bit. His thumb is fatter. What was your?
Are you still Team Greer?
I'm Team Greer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not on anybody's team. Let's say that. Because as much as I believe and don't believe a lot of the things he says, I feel the same way with the other side. I don't believe anybody. But, I listen to everybody. There's some things I like on this side, some things I like on that side. And there's things I hate. So I don't know where to go, what to do. Ufology is very confusing for me. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but
no, I'm confused at just life in general. Just getting up in the morning confuses me.
Right? But seriously, the whole field is it's really weird. People are hating it, they're loving it. People just don't like Greer, so they won't even watch it. It's like you're not even going to listen to what the other side is offering. You don't even want to hear it.
And that's it. That's just it. You've got to you can't accuse people of this, that, and the other without hearing them out. And you've recently kind of changed your tune a little bit on Lou.
A little bit. Yeah. Well, I'm only giving him credit because he said that it's possibly maybe one of ours. He actually had to. After Greer made that statement about, everybody on Third Phase of Moon, and then Lou came back and said, oh, yeah, I don't deal with terrorists and this and that. That's when Lou changed his tune. That's when he started saying, yeah, it could be. But he goes by it real fast. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not ours. Yeah, and then he just skims over us real quick. Could be one of ours. But he's changed it a little bit because we're calling him out. But does that mean there isn't a script? And if he went off script, would what he did, does that really change anything anyway? No. So let Lou say it. Let him say it can't be ours. Now, once he said that, then it's aliens, I think. That's what I like about it. It's something. We don't know. We can't measure it because we don't know how to. Bull crap. They know what they're doing. They know everything. You don't think? You think they really don't know?
I mean, Osvaldo he's been sending me a lot of videos that of kind of saying that Greer has basically he's just trying to make himself relevant here, and there's people disproving him.
That's what we say about their people.
Yes.
They're just trying to be at the top. Sorry.
I have to say, in that documentary, again, I'm seeing emotion from Stephen Greer, and Lee, I'll come to you in a bit with that one. But that at the end for me, when he he falls apart a little bit. It didn't look fake to me. It looked like that was like he'd had someone was acknowledging the weight that's on his shoulders.
Yeah. Paula Harris did. No, not Paula Harris. Yeah, that was Paula Harris. Right.
To
Or
me,
was it the lady with the white hair? I can't remember.
It was Paula Harris.
It was, right. I remember now.
To me, that struck me is as soon as she walked away, somebody shouted, "Cut," hit clappers, and then the rest of the crew applauded.
What? You heard that?
No. I'm just that's what I imagined happened. I didn't see any sincerity in it at all.
You know, it's weird because I did meet Dr. Greer and talk to him for a few minutes. Yeah, I looked into his eyes. I didn't see Satan.
I'm not saying Satan. I'm saying
I know, but you're saying he's basically faking what he's doing.
Yeah,
is that it?
Well, basically, what I thought,
or that they were happy with the way it went.
I enjoyed watching the documentary. I don't think he said anything. I think he did. For the first half of it, or at least the first quarter, was like a best of. Like now, that's what I call conspiracies or something like that. Trying to rope everything into like a unified.
You got a bad story.
US conspiracy theory. And then we watched an hour and 10 minutes of stuff which was kind of the same things that people have been saying for a while, and then at the end of the day, at the end of it, you realize you watched an hour and a half advertisement for a £10 phone app.
I don't think so. You know what? The entire documentary was presented very well. Yes, that they're going over certain things that we've heard before, but he did it in a way that was very direct, especially alluding to some of the other sightings and cases that came before Roswell. I think it's something that we all supposed maybe saw something in passing at one point, but never had it really included in a compartmentalized sort of way, the way that Greer presented it in this movie. I think, you know, that is probably the point of this presentation. It's about awareness. And of course, just to kind of mention what you guys are talking about in the way of him becoming emotional, if you're passionate about something, if you care so deeply and you understand the impact that this sort of information has for people collectively, you're going to get emotional in some way too, I believe. You know, I mean, there's a lot of energy that's put into this. And again, he's branching out and putting himself on the line in so many ways with what he knows, because it's going to help the collective. There's a lot there in the way of energy. And unless one of us are sitting in his seat, in his body, we don't know exactly how overwhelmed he's feeling. But I think it's genuine. I don't think Greer really has much to gain, you know, weeping into a camera. He's done it before. So, you know, why continue the same old trick if that's what he's using? I think it's genuine.
Yeah, it's genuine. And to go off what both of you said, especially Lee, is that it's the same old story. Well, because we're hearing the same old lies from those same stories. So he's trying to, you know, show another side to those stories and things that these people have been talking about for so long. So I was a little frustrated with it too, because I felt like I was watching, and no offense, but it was like watching Countdown to Disclosure again for the 10th time. You know, that's how the first part felt, like first 30 minutes, which isn't bad, but it was like he just watched Countdown to Disclosure, remember what he said, and then said it all in the first 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty decent, but I'm in the same boat as you guys. I wanted some dirt. Like, I thought we were going to get dirt, you know,
that
like somebody, right?
At one point he says, when people see this documentary and they see the evidence that we've put forward, there was no evidence of anything put forward. I've never seen the word evidence used so haphazardly.
Circumstantial evidence, a lot of it, event evidence in the way of implication, wherein public speakers are, or faces are not giving us a direct answer, but they're alluding to something. Yeah, he's using the word evidence a little loosely, but I mean, there is something there in the way of certain discovery.
Did it not make you guys feel not uncomfortable? Uncomfortable is the wrong word, but it's the only word I've got for it. When like the last 20 minutes of the documentary became a sales pitch for like a massively expensive meditation app.
No, not really. He just threw it in at the end.
I think
And
that
in the middle.
I think that's what the documentary was for.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't.
Otherwise, he'd have sold the documentary like he sold the rest of the documentary.
But you don't understand. It was funded. He made his money. That's why he gave it out for free. A lot of people donated a lot of money, and I guess he kept his part and gave it to us for free.
I tell you what, it cost us fortune in stock footage.
You see,
No.
Yeah, like those bits of stock footage that I used in there, because I actually a couple of the there was like one scene with a guy being abducted, and I wanted to buy that very same piece of stock footage for a music video for my band, and it was like a couple of $100. So that was like one small clip. What?
Depends on what service he's using.
Yeah, it depends on how long you used it for.
No, the stock footage, you buy them in chunks, don't you? You don't buy them for the time you use them for. But yeah, I just wanted more. Maybe that was it. Or maybe I just wanted more.
I think we will probably get more. I don't know if he's going to stop there now, because he's obviously he's on something. But with what you're saying there, with Lee, with the app, I completely get where you're coming from. But at the same time, at the end of my videos, I might mention something. I'll never try to sell something halfway through a video.
No,
at all.
Right.
I wouldn't.
That's the
I
idea.
wouldn't dream of it.
Yeah, he doesn't do that.
It. At the end, if you save it to the end, there's no issue. If you start putting things down people's neck from the get-go, then in my eyes, you're just a dickhead. But he saved it to the end.
That's
hilarious. I agree 100%, Alien Addict. 100%. Why wouldn't he just drop this initially? I mean, if you're advertising something throughout a production, you want to have something that's referred to as a callback. So you're going to introduce this product initially, fly through it, and then maybe remind them halfway through the show, and then bring the big finale at the end where you really get in depth about the product. So you're reminding people along the way. I mean, and again, if he's giving this to us for free, he's really not making money off the production itself. It's maybe what he has at the end there, but again, I can't fault the guy for putting something that he may have developed in way of product. I just don't think the whole thing was about.
I do know what Lee's getting at, though. I get he's
Yeah.
I mean, it's $9.99. It's an expensive, but I'm going to buy it. I'm going to try it out. I need to. I'm not a researcher, but it's just for a laugh. I need to try it out. I need to get that app, and I need to get myself in a wood on my own on a night and get that app up and go live, and hopefully I don't get killed.
I don't see how people are saying it wasn't free because he put his ad in there to make money.
Personally, it's the way it was put in. No, personally for me, it's the way it was implemented. Like it just seems to slide in, and then the last 20 minutes is just about the various meditation methods within the app, and that struck me as odd.
I get it. He's already made his money, and I think I know how much he made. Right? It's a lot of money. And he's okay. I didn't have a problem with him putting an ad out there for his thing. It's him. He gave us something that was interesting.
I've no problem.
Anybody have a problem with somebody trying to market, trying to make money in this life? Look, he did something. He didn't put it in there first. He didn't talk about it in the thing. He just put it in there as like, hey, while you're watching this, maybe help me out a little bit. Help yourself out. Maybe you can talk to an alien. All right.
Rich, have you bought the app?
No.
Are you gonna buy that app?
No, I have the handbook. I spent $13 on that handbook, the CE5 handbook, for research. And I was gonna have us, and we were all gonna do it on my show. We were all gonna have the book and try to make contact. But then I read somewhere it says, well, if it doesn't work the first time, just keep trying. Around the 6th time, you should start making connection. Yeah, by then I don't want to do it anymore either. So, I mean, come on. I made me so mad buying that thing. Should be ashamed of yourself, Greer.
Well, there's not
So
anything you can do overnight, you know. That's
No,
gonna be a
but
process,
6
of course.
times?
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
At least
it's
give
not
you a
going to
number,
work
right?
on the 4th. God, no, never work on the 4th or the 5th. But the 6th, it's got to work. Come on.
The secret should have come with a number too.
Yes.
Maybe it just works better if you go out and sit in a desert with him for a few days.
I wouldn't mind that. Maybe I'll meet him.
I think that'd be good fun.
He's a
I'd
good guy.
I'd go and stand on a log with Greer.
Stephen,
What's
if
he
you,
do?
I live in the UK, if you're in the chat, say hello. But if you pay me to, I'll come and stay in your house. You can cook a barbecue, and we can go out to the. Well, he had Tom DeLonge stay over. You know, Tom
Who?
DeLonge stayed. Tom DeShlong stayed at Stephen's
Oh, I know
house.
that guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. He stayed at Greer's?
Yeah, he stayed at Greer's.
Oh, well, that's interesting now, isn't it?
He had him stay over a couple of times.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
even more interesting.
I think this is when Tom was doing his research and it kind of leading up to TTSA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
He threw a few punches Lou's way, Corbell's way, and he kind of he showed Tom DeLonge as being the puppet. In that show.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? That was pretty right on point. That's what it looks like. We don't know for sure, but it looks that way. And if it looks that way, it must be. I wanted to ask you guys and anybody listening, watching, because I've seen the comments in there and a lot of people are Greer haters. I want to know. I know he hasn't said much lately or anything new, but why do we hate this guy? I don't hate him, but I used to have a, I don't know, is it disdain, Michael? Is that the word I'm looking for?
That's it.
Where I didn't really trust everything he said. But then I said later on as I matured, I said, well, he's not really hurting anybody. This is adults. These are people in their 30s and 40s who, you know, will give him money and go watch him. You know, that's up to them. They're adults. And I know it sucks if they're not talking to aliens, but some of these people think they are. And I don't see anything wrong with that for some reason.
It feels a bit culty, though, doesn't it?
A little bit. But damn it, what if they can? That's the whole thing. Wouldn't you want to have the edge on everybody else?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, do you not believe in aliens then, Lee?
Yeah. I've always found Greer since the early days of Disclosure Project. I like Greer early days.
That's the Greer I like.
Yeah, and then I think slowly realized that after his big moves didn't really gain any traction, he found himself with a load of notoriety and a way to make a load of money. And I don't.
Damn it.
I don't hate that. Do you know what I mean? I don't hate it.
But you don't know if it's legit.
Yeah. But like when I sit and watch that documentary, I see a really, really well edited
it's beautifully done.
YouTube video. But I tell you what, I don't see. So I saw someone in the chat saying that he crowdfunded like 380k for it. I don't see 380k in it.
Well, if people donated him that much money, you know, he kept whatever it didn't cost to make the movie for himself.
Oh yeah, no.
He had to pay people, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it just I found myself sat there at the end, going, oh well, Stephen Greer doesn't trust Lou Elizondo and the sort of modern narrative. Like you guys know, I don't particularly trust like this sort of modern disclosure thing that we thought we were going through.
Right.
I agree. I don't trust it, but I knew that going into that documentary that Greer didn't trust it, but I didn't get anything new out of it. I left that feeling exactly the same way as I went into it.
I did too. I really did. Sadly.
Do you think we're putting?
I don't think it's made for us. I don't think it's made for us.
I think it's only us that watch it though.
It's
but
not
do you think
made
we
for
went in
people.
with an expectation that we're not. That may be what's overshadowing what the movie's all about, really.
Maybe
Stephen Greer, he must have something big.
Well, see, there was two things that struck me that was odd that he used. Of all the stuff that you could use to make a UFO documentary with, the alien, which like is doing some sort of photobomb, like past the camera that are opened with, I mean, what the fuck's that? I don't know what that is, but I do not believe that's an extraterrestrial. And then,
which bit don't you believe is an extraterrestrial?
like the highlighted, blurry, pixelated image of like the little guy that almost looks like he's doing a peace sign past the camera.
Yes, from one of his CE. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the guy.
It looks pretty cool, man.
Oh, it looks pretty cool.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Has anybody seen? Oh God, what film is it now? With Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson, Witches of Eastwick.
No.
Oh, Rich, you need to watch that.
No, I have seen it. It doesn't remind me of it.
No. At the end, when Jack Nicholson gets shrunk and he turns into this little thing, and then he just pops.
Oh my God! Yes,
it looks just like it.
What if it's it?
Can you imagine? Stephen Greer has just basically shown us a shrunk down version of Jack Nicholson.
Well, it also looks like it also looks like the guy who was the one in the Flintstones, the little Martian that came around before your time.
Oh,
a Martian. There was an alien.
Yes, there was an alien.
No, it was before that. It was more. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
I can't believe they've been prepping us since the Stone Age for this.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, and you wonder why I'm in Aliens. They had it all the way back then. The Flintstones, 60s.
What did any of you
Gazoo! That was his name, Gazoo.
I can't remember the alien.
Oh.
Yeah, he floated around on his little ship. He would just appear out of nowhere, had the hat on with the antennas.
Oh, he was in the Jetsons as well, wasn't he?
Was he?
I think he did do double time. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Gazoo. That's unbelievable.
Maybe the ancient alien theorists have it right. What did any of you guys think of the 1920s photo?
Yeah. Okay, this whole scenario is suspect because that is a college, and I can't remember the name. It's a very popular one, and they document that they get the cadavers, like burn victims, like I think this one is, and they look at strange anomalies and they study these cadavers and they document them all. They all take pictures when they're in the middle of it. There's this school, I can't remember the name, Stanford, I think, or Sanford. Is it Sanford or Stanford? Stanford.
Stanford.
Yeah, that's the college.
I would put gun to head with having no knowledge about this. That is an unwrapped mummy.
Okay.
It looks like a burn victim, like Rich was saying. But if you look down by the legs, it looks like on the foot, starting at the toes, they've already cut up, or there's obviously some sort of lesion that's there. What about this particular cadaver makes us think that this is extraterrestrial? I mean, proportionately, it looks the way a human would be. Possibly the belly's a little distended, but again, if it's a cadaver, you have gases that will build up and cause that sort of reaction. You can't really see much in the way of a face or a head. In fact, at first glance, it almost looks like there's some sort of towel or something wrapped around it. It's hard to tell from this photo. I mean, it's not enough.
And he's got a dangler, I think. No, really, you can see his dangler. But the feet look like just feet, like something like, I don't know, maybe they got stumped up or burnt up. I don't know what.
Hands look like hands.
But look at,
The hands look like hands.
They look like, I was just going to say that, yeah.
The other one I found was weird was, I can't remember what the guy's name is now. It was one, I think he did like a deathbed confession of of aliens, and he had a picture, didn't he, of this little gray.
That was Boyd.
Yes.
Yeah. And it turned out that you could buy that
in Walmart.
Same alien in Walmart. Now, I don't understand why somebody like Greer would still use that guy that's done that.
There's so many pictures in this book, and I could swear there's a couple of them where you see the same people behind, working like months earlier on a body, because it's different classes and different teachers with their students, and they're just documenting strange cadavers. They're learning how to be doctors.
No, I meant the guy which had the alien thing, like the ex-army guy. I don't
yeah.
understand why you'd keep him in.
I
when
know.
it's already been proven that like he
Why
hopes
would you
to
keep Dodie
an
in?
alien. Yeah.
Why would you? Yeah, but why would you keep Dodie in at the same time?
Oddly
as well?
enough, I thought Dodie was the most honest guy in it. There was something in his eyes that made you feel that he
That's
was
right.
that he was carrying a weight there. Maybe it was just the weight of a liar. I don't know, but he seemed like he was carrying something on his shoulders. He was the most believable.
Well, this is
Maybe.
the problem, because if for some reason, because Greer says that Daniel Chien is only working with Lou Elizondo because he wants to bring the truth out of him and Chris Mellon. He wants them to come clean about what has happened and the fact that they have been told. He thinks he basically Greer's saying that Daniel says, and Daniel said this, that they have a big like weight on their shoulders, and they're basically they've got to tell this story. But if Lou did come out and basically whistle blow, how would we trust him? You know, if Lou went to Team Greer,
Yeah.
or even how would then we trust that man?
It depends on what he says, man. You look in his eyes, everything. We'd have to just hear what he has to say and see if it makes sense. But do you ever really trust a guy who was trained to lie? He's not a good liar.
You see, Rich, I'm on neither side, but I see honesty in Stephen, but at the same time, there's been such a dodgy background. You know, for so long, everybody's been kind of throwing spears his way and saying, you know, there's been flares put out. I saw a UFO in one of his videos on what's it called, the last one, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and Osvaldo sent me and said check this out, and I put one of the UFOs out straight away because I thought, wow, that's amazing. And then Osvaldo messaged me and showed me a full video of it, and it was actually skydivers. But that's in the documentary,
Right.
as skydivers. So that I don't know if this is the part of the team that edits some of the stuff for him, and it goes into the final edit. You know, but for me, I'd be saying you can't put that in you're going to ruin my reputation.
Unless he's not bothered.
Well, you know, like with the
unless he goes in, he does his bits. He gives all the footage of him sat there talking, like that odd side shot which showed his really big vein in his head. He gives them all this footage. Then they go off, as I said before, hit up Pixlr or Adobe Stock, lash a load of like sci-fi looking footage in the middle of it of people in a command center, staple it together, and out it goes. That's why you'd have the copyright strike and stuff like that, because it's probably not been anything to do with him. He's probably gone in, said his bits for the way that the storyboard of the documentary is going to be written down, and then it's just pinned together.
Well, yeah, the company that are behind it might be like, no, this needs to go out. You know, we've put so much money into this, so much support into this, and he may not have a control in some of the footage that actually does go into some of these documentaries.
Guarantee he doesn't.
I'd have thought he'd have employed them, to be honest. If he's doing the crowdfund, I'd have thought the producers of the documentary would be employed.
I don't know about this one, but the previous ones, maybe, you know, like Countdown, not that's Third Phases, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, Serious Disclosure, and what's the one that I really liked? My favorite, in fact, Unacknowledged.
Yeah.
I think, you know, that you can see the companies that are the name, you know, the names of the companies. So I think they have a big say in a lot of this. I don't know how the whole thing works, but I don't know in regards to that. Back to that alien, or whatever it is, Burns victim. There was nothing there that backed it up. It was like, oh, and here's an alien.
Yeah.
I just have such a problem with some of these older videos and photos because we very often, more than not, cannot trace the source. We cannot find details of the people that are recorded in the photographs. And if we do find those people, by chance, they don't talk. So I have a very difficult time, again, leaning on some of these more retro bits of evidence because, again, there's no clarity in the way of where they came from or what they might actually be doing. It's something as simple as looking at some of the video evidence that we have today, wherein we may see ETs exit a craft, we see a craft landing right in front of us, and then we come to realize that this was a movie set. All right, but we didn't know. Maybe they were working with something. Maybe they were doing a demonstration, and there is some sort of cadaver in front of them. But again, as we're talking about, maybe deformed, maybe through trauma or otherwise, it's just a human being. We just don't know. We don't have enough to sit on in the way of some of these older bits of evidence. But for Greer to, take that, he had some conviction. So I'll give him that as much, but I may not have done the same thing.
But it looks like all the other photos in that booklet that I was talking about from the school. That's why I don't buy it. Because it looks exactly like it. The lighting, the color, everything. Forget about it.
Forget
it's a
about
duck.
it.
But I mean, going back to my the title of the actual video, the real threat.
Great thumbnail.
What? Thank you, Rich. That's the only reason why I brought it on.
It is beautiful, actually.
Some gratitude there.
No, it's true. Third Face said the same thing. They really thought it was a great thumbnail.
I want to know, what is the actual real threat? What? So he's saying that the weapons in space, if this happens, they're going to shoot a bunch of ETs down. How the hell would we even have the technology to do that? If they've got the technologies to, I don't know how far they're coming. I want to know how Greer knows this information. I want to know how he knows that these creatures have turned around, because in that documentary, he basically said that they was pissed off that we'd put a few nukes around, and it was affecting their world in a different dimension.
Yeah.
I want to know how he knows this.
Right.
How does he know this? How does he know that we have the technology to take these ETs down? Because he tells us this, but there's never any evidence to back it up. So, Stephen, again, if you get to see this right now, you need to tell us. We need to know the actual evidence.
He always goes to his insiders. They all have insiders that tell them stuff. I have an insider. I have a whistleblower. They always got somebody at the Pentagon. It's always somebody somewhere doing stuff for them. Come on.
But if
And
it's
they never
just
give
some
them any
kid at
bits of
home,
physical evidence. Yeah.
It was the same with the hinting towards the fake alien invasion as well, wasn't it? And but the person I was watching the documentary with, I had to pause the documentary. It's a great cup, isn't it?
I don't know why. Michael started laughing.
Oh, I'm dying.
I didn't realize.
Sorry, Lee.
It's all right.
I thought it was a cup of my granddad. I thought. Somebody said.
Do you call those Toby jugs in America? Because we'd call that a Toby jug in the UK. My dad collects them. He'd love one of those. But anyway, sorry.
I'm sorry.
When he was talking about the fake alien invasion, it seemed like such an open goal to not then bring up like Project Bluebeam, Project Bluebeam, and I had to pause the video with the person I was talking to and explain Project Bluebeam to them. Because I mean, if there was going to be a fake alien invasion, I think that might be a big part of it.
Well, that's not Project Blue Beam. He's talking about the fake alien. Project Blue. I'm right by saying Project Blue Beam is where they actually project it.
Yeah. He's
He's talking about the fake alien. He's talking about what Von Braun was talking about with the lady, Carol.
Yeah, but
what's her
surely,
name?
surely that would lead to the same thing. If you were going to talk about that, you might bring Bluebeam up as a method of how it would be even feasible.
Yeah, but Greer's saying in that documentary that it's already happened, not Project Bluebeam, but the final card, the alien fake invasion. I think. Am I right by saying that, Rich? You'll know this. Bluebeam is the actual technology of putting a hologram in the sky and showing it as aliens coming. But Greer's not really in that documentary saying that's going to happen. He's saying that already the card is being played. Am I right by saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to back it up with more. You can't just say it and expect it. I think Rich is right. I think you were right ages and ages and ages ago when you said it was all about money for military projects, for funding.
Yeah. It might be. I mean, it is B. Because why would Elizondo say it's a threat? Because he's in the military. That's how they think. That's all that's about. That's it. Something in the airspace, we don't know what it is. That's a threat because we don't know what it is. It could take us out if it could do these things that we can't do.
Yeah.
So that I understand. All right. But what the problem was, he wasn't telling us that it could be a private organization, funded by whatever, whoever, like Bigelow. That's where that threat comes from. But Greer's talking about an actual threat that's already happened. That's two different things. So it's pretty interesting that he would say that there is an apparent threat.
I think it's weird as well that Greer always goes back to the sort of immediate space brother sort of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you say there about it's something in your airspace that you don't know what it is. Of course, you're going to think of it as a threat. In the same way as if I found out somebody was in my house I didn't know who they were, I would look at them as a threat before I tried to give them a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think majority of the time that's actually what they're referencing. I mean, yes, it's built upon that logic. There's something that we could follow in the way of reason. But when they continue to talk about a threat, they're talking more in a global sense. But again, they're disguising it under this guise of, we already mentioned the airspace threat, but we're going to continue to use this word as a blanket word for the concepts that we're trying to really put forward here. It's a bit of psychology that they're employing in doing this. And I mean, you can see it reflected in advertising markets and so forth, but they're doing it on a mass scale where they know exactly what the outcome will be if they succeed, by the way.
So why is this narrative being pushed then right now? To get away from the movie for a second, but it will circle back to it. Circle back, Saki. Why now? What's changed that we are actually seeing this much airtime on mainstream media and so much conversation about it? Why? What's the rush?
Rich, with that, so thank you, Elena. I used to go out with somebody called Elena.
Oh, Elena.
If it's my ex, no, it's not, unless she's married. No, thank you, Elena. I appreciate it. No, that Elena would not give me $10. No,
she'd give you 100.
She won't piss on me if I were on fire. But the weirdest thing was that I saw in your show the other day, Rich, is when you were showing my government in the Houses of Parliament talking about the aerial threat.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen that. Not in the House. Lee, correct me if I'm wrong here. I know you've got.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that. What you talking about?
Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen it?
Ever? I don't know. I don't even know if I remember, to be honest. We've had these things pop up now and again before, haven't we? So maybe there has been something. But it's never been as prevalent as like in the mainstream as it is right now.
It just felt so, pardon the pun, but alien to me. Looking at people in the House of Commons, and these are very. You saw how they are, Mom and with the honourable gentleman just. Status, blah blah blah. That's what we do in the UK.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. It didn't look right. It was, and I know. Like you guys in the States, you kind of used to this, but we're not used to that, and it feels weird right now when this is happening. Do you get where I'm coming from? That's why I think it's definitely something to not worry about, but something to something's happening. Something's definitely happening when I'm seeing this in something that goes on national TV in the UK. It's
But why?
There are two things.
There
are two
do you
things
think?
happening here.
Yeah,
Thank you again, Elena. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say that there are two pretty distinct things happening here. Number one, if one country comes out with some knowledge of UFOs, UAPs in a public way, and the technology that, again, they're going to purport that they have, then they'll be the first. So there's a sense of ego in here, and this old world archaic paradigm of might is right. Okay, so the stacking effect of people climbing on each other to get to the top, that's still a very large element in the way that they are presenting this information. And of course, you're going to see echoing of other countries turning their heads saying, uh-oh, they're talking about this. Oh boy, they're doing it that much. They said that. Oh shit. All right, now we have to talk about a few things. We got to address it because now people are starting to catch up. The door has been open and the floodgates are starting to allow that water to push through. The second thing that's happening, and again, this is more wooish, but it's something that has been talked about, is this whole shift that we went into the fourth dimension. And if we just crossed over that threshold, as I've mentioned many times before, wherein this is now accessible to live this reality through the body that you're in now, it's not just third dimensional, it can be fourth dimensional experience as well. There are other implications in the way of physicality and nature that will naturally follow that course of vibration. And we're just sort of the byproduct, in a sense, in way of catching that, because we're on the planet. If the planet raises its vibration, whether it's due to us or not, we're here, we're going along with it, or we're not. And there, again, is a very polarized view of what could happen, or at least this is what they were talking about, whether it's something disastrous or we very gently move into the next overtone. I'm in the belief that that's what we did. We gently moved in, let's put gently in quotations. We had a lot of upheaval throughout the planet, energetically as well as physically, over the last, let's say, 10 years even. But this is something that, you know, the world leaders had been debriefed on back in the late 80s and early 90s. There were figures talking about this and seriously addressing this sort of shift that was coming and saying there are going to be secrets that you cannot keep anymore. It's just the nature of where we're going. You simply will not be able to hold on to them. They'll disintegrate in the way of something tangible, and they will be disseminated. People will know these certain things, just the way it's going to be. So in my opinion, again, those are two very stark things that are on the table in the way of your question, Rich, as to why right now.
With the sort of conversation that makes Ollie really, really nervous, it would explain if you talk about secrets that like can't be kept anymore. It would explain why the sort of powers that be are launching like such crazy tactics to keep control of people.
There are a few who are still grasping at those straws because they haven't moved forward, or they will not move forward in that vibration. They'll continue to experience the reality the way they create it. But there, again, is a collective experience that we all have, whether it's we're in the same space or there's something deeper that is being addressed. And yes, again, there are people who are very resistant to this type of change because you will relinquish control. You will change in a way that you perhaps couldn't imagine and become something. Again, it's about control, really. It's about letting go of that control, letting go of control of money, of people, of power. That's not going to be an option in the way of where we're moving, or potentially could be moving.
Well, you said that it's all about power, you know, trying to be the first. Are you saying to be like America wants to be the first to bring out this threat narrative? I mean, it's been brought up since the 50s, but now, is that why you're saying it? So we can again reclaim our status in ufology?
The more information that is disseminated by a particular country in the way of high technology or knowledge about extraterrestrials or crafts, the more power that country gains, because they're,
if they can prove it, yeah.
Well, yes, of course. Let's just assume that what they're presenting moving forward, they can prove, okay, we have this. We go back to the militarization problem here, because we're still very much conflicted amongst each other. So there's this competition. It's not necessarily about being on top in the way that perhaps you mentioned, you know, economically for many years we were at that state.
Sure.
I don't think it's necessarily reflected in that sense. It's more of an anxiety or a fear of what the next country might do. Now, knowing they have this technology, we have technology too, so we're going to show it to you. It's a big waving of tail feathers. in a sense. You know what I mean? Just kind of taunting, I think.
So we're saying that we know about this technology and saying we know Russia doesn't have it, China. And if they say we don't have it, but our navies are recording it and chasing these things, so how does that tell them that we have this extraordinary technology? Are you saying that's because we're we want to give the illusion that we are saying it's aliens, but it's really us?
I think in respect to the overall narrative, that sort of fits in the way that I see if I say this correctly. So militarily, in the way of weaponization, if you come out, and again, they haven't given us anything, but just the acknowledgement of the UAPs and UFOs and so forth that we're seeing sort of trickle through the different countries is a very preliminary action to where we may be headed in the way of divulging some of this stuff. If they're all sitting on this technology, and I do believe that I mean, it's not necessarily the country too, it's the military of that country. It's the privatized businesses of certain countries that have that information. So it all ties back into the weaponization, the distrust that we have with each other. And yet again, there's that sense of ego that if I have it first, you know what I mean, you better come up with something better out of your arsenal, or I'm the one who has the power. So if I come out and say I have the Tic Tac technology and we strap rockets to this damn thing, then Russia looks over and goes, oh well, we have something that's sort of like that. It's not as powerful, but and then you start seeing this technology race that might mirror what we saw in the Cold War era. But we don't have it. We never said we did have it, though. So I'm confused as to. No, this is more hypothetical in respect to where we may be going. Oh, okay. Where we may be going. Where we're stepping into. Yes, where we may be headed next. Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, because if we can give the illusion that we may be on the cusp of having this technology, that would make us all powerful, all knowing, and well, don't fuck with us.
Exactly. Do you know what actually?
Sorry, Michael.
Speaking of power and the technology that gets into space, the training involved, whatever. I mean, I know it's breaking the subject a little bit, but Jeff Bezos going with his brother and that grandma into space. As far as I'm concerned, NASA has been saying for years that to go into space, you need to be fit as a fiddle.
I mean, have you seen any of the people that are on the International Space Station? I mean, come on, like they went golfing and then they went on the space station.
Space is real, people. Don't worry.
Space is real.
Space is real, and the Earth is flat, right?
Michael, you can't laugh like that when you say Earth is flat, because then they'll be onto us. They'll know who we work for.
I know. Can't say I'm too worried.
The whole thing with this subject, though, let's not forget, he's never, as much as people hate him or love him, Dr Greer has never changed his tune on what these. He's always called them extraterrestrials. Mm-hmm. He said in that doc that they are not demons, which keeps being the demon work keeps being dropped.
So they don't abduct people, though.
It almost turned me to religion.
Oh, he said that the abductions weren't by aliens.
Yeah, the human beings do it.
Again, another completely unsubstantiated claim. Yeah, nothing to back it up. Just there's a grenade. Bye.
Yeah. No, they all do it.
He did say, if you're ever close enough to a TR-3B, look very carefully underneath it. If it's got scaffolding.
I know. I couldn't believe it. I almost died laughing, dude. I'm like, you got to be serious. So if it has scaffolding, it's made by humans.
Yeah, it's got a couple of
aliens.
But the thing is, maybe he knows this knowledge, but don't show us.
He did show us
toys.
At least 6 well, they were even cardboard. I think they were paper. And one, the last one was squashed. Just make another one. Just make
You know, but I like that. At least he gave it that effort. You know, I appreciate that because we all have to listen to these people talk and say, "What if?" Okay, because nobody really knows, and I don't think he knows. He's just going by what somebody else saw. You know, so it's always about, well, what if it's possible? That's all we live on here.
This is what it was.
Yeah.
It was the perfect documentary, the perfect UFO documentary to have come out 15 years ago. Sunday afternoon hangover documentary where you can just even before you've got really into this stuff, you know, and before you've learned loads of things and you just finding videos on YouTube for the first time, it was the perfect documentary to turn like any sense of reality off in your head and just buy in for an hour and a half.
That's okay, man.
Yeah,
Nobody gets hurt.
I'm not knocking it.
I know.
Yeah. Because, like I said, I did enjoy watching it. You know, I wasn't bored watching the film.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it.
I thought it was great.
I just wanted him to bring an alien out and go, "This is Gary." That's all.
He did. he brought Gary out. Unfortunately, he'd been burnt to death.
Poor Gary.
Why is his head? What is with the head? What is with the head?
Yeah, it looks like it's a mask turned sideways.
Yes, it does, Rich. It looks like one of those masks,
Japanese masks,
that you would go to some sort of weird big mansion where a lot of people are naked, and you go into a room with different people.
Sure, I think it looks like
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes,
I think
Masquerade Ball.
Like,
Masquerade Ball. Even better.
I think it looks like your man. Yeah, Alien Autopsy, where they peel the head back.
That's what it looks like that guy's doing, right?
Oh,
It
okay.
looks like he's looking underneath,
but he's not.
Underneath the back of the head, it looks like either they got in there already, or there's some sort of hollow space underneath. Again, giving
like
this
a helmet,
impression, like a helmet or some sort of cloth that's draped over, or a mask, like you guys are mentioning. It's very strange.
Guys, that is interesting.
Right now, I'm so suspicious of Dark Hour and GUFON. I think they're in the same room cuddling.
Oh,
they've gone for a kiss.
I don't want to vape on camera out of respect for everybody who lives.
Yeah, you didn't say you wanted to come along, Ollie. I mean, we would have invited you. We asked Lee, but he said he'd come later, so I don't know what you're doing. So
are you using Third Phase of Moon's portal?
Yeah, but I mean, I put the 25 cents in every time, so it's not like I'm using it for free.
No, it's 50 now.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's why it didn't work. Put another one in, I bet you disappear.
That would explain where my left foot is.
And our drum tracks, Lee.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, brother. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Come on, I'm an opportunist here.
That's so funny.
Okay,
actually.
So back to that though. Let's not
Innocent.
forget this. Let's not forget the fact that he's never changed his tune.
I know, he never has.
Never. So
Well, who does?
As much as we're having a laugh and a joke here.
Neither did Stan Romanek.
And here's God, yeah, but he's a.
I know, but I'm just saying, he never changed his story.
Maybe.
Yeah,
well,
it's that government. They always go after people who see fake aliens.
Yeah, me.
So stupid.
As he was getting arrested, it wasn't a child, it was an alien.
Right. That's the best, man.
And I can't fiddle with it because they don't have any genitals.
Right. Oh my goodness.
I need to stop because that's definitely going to be demonetized.
No.
Even though it only makes 50 cents, people. 50 cents. It makes me laugh when people go, "Oh, you're just doing it for the money." This, yeah,
it's for the fortune. You're just doing it to hook up with ex-girlfriends, by the looks of it.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing: we give everybody shit. So as soon as Greer put that thing out that he did, I can't remember what he called it. But when he was making this
Cosmic
document, yes, when he was before he put the doc out and he made that speech, we were kind of like, "Ooh, yes." But he's done it now, and I'm not saying I've gone away from Stephen, but he needed to back it up a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, you're reading my mind. Everybody is tonight. I wanted to see dirt. I thought he was going to prove something about Elizondo being a fraud, not just saying it.
And see, that's the other thing as well. If he's going to go essentially to put something out which is going against Elizondo and Mellon, and like we say, like the general narrative of things,
Yeah,
we cannot believe that as much as we want. But at least when Corbella drops a video, he's giving it a narrative as far as this was from a declassified military vessel, blah blah blah. He's explaining something about it. Greer just said it was all bullshit, but didn't give any reason why.
He didn't. He did not say Mick West's debunk was not a debunk in Greer's eyes. This was man-made. This is not bokeh, whatever it's called.
it is bokeh.
No,
but
Greer,
it is an airplane.
In Greer's documentary, this is not extraterrestrial, but this is a
Plane.
Well, how he described that, and also that
What?
in that doc, he was basically saying that they are ours.
Yeah, I believe
but
it.
but he didn't say that Mick West debunk was right. He was on basically saying that these, when he was holding up the paper mache, he was saying it's that.
Greer is not a camera guy. He doesn't know anything about cameras. He doesn't know. But he's wrong on that. I believe it is what Mick West said it was. Don't you? I mean,
I agree.
other military people came out and showed us
This
on the
one
internet.
definitely. That one I definitely believe that
Without
is.
a doubt. And it's
I
not
think Mick West had it spot on.
I think it's just when you stop that footage, then just past it, because you can see the other two images that are
Stars.
triangles as well. Yeah.
And Mick West proved what stars they were with the star map at the time that was supposedly shot.
And the recreation footage he did was pretty bang on, wasn't it? No, when he did his own.
John P. Adventures, I can't use that footage or Jaime's show if it's on Gaia. I think that was on Gaia. Just to answer that question in the chat room, he's asked twice. Or anyway, I saw Lee. Well, what are you doing? Not Lee. Ollie. What happened? What'd I miss? Hello?
I felt the cat brush against me, but there's no cat in the room.
There you go.
That's my left foot.
Oh
That's
my
where it
God.
went.
He's trying to
footsies.
kick you in the ass. That's so awesome. Lee.
That's really freaked me out. I think it was.
What is there a fan on?
No, I don't know. I felt something just go like that on the back of the chair.
You probably did.
Yeah, who are you acknowledging right now?
Yeah.
Maybe he wants a sip of your
No,
Sprite.
I think it's
Yeah.
it's a Fanta.
Well, you had Sprite earlier, though, right?
Fanta.
Oh
It's
God,
blowing through them tonight.
it's not
Careful.
sponsored.
What?
But if you want a Fanta, you can sponsor.
I want a
it, yeah.
Fanta.
Fanta.
I think the people that really had high hopes for this are, Stephen, a little bit frustrated. They needed to be a little bit more to back it up.
Yep.
That's
A
the
lot
thing.
more.
I agree.
He-
Do you
he
think
was-
that this... Sorry, I
Go on.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
I was just going to ask, do you think maybe this is something preliminary? Not to kind of recycle the word in respect to the documentation we got here, but
Yeah.
for Stephen Greer, do you think he's sitting on more information that he's not telling us? He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would withhold, but what do you guys think about that?
He had that photograph for a very long time before he dropped it in that movie of the
Okay, so
alien.
maybe I stand corrected, possibly.
He does sit on stuff just like Corbell sits on stuff, and they wait for the right time. Okay, everything's slowed down in ufology. If I put this out now, thousands of people will be hungry for it. That's what they do. That's the thing. If Corbell has all this stuff, just show us all of it.
Well, let's
Why the
face it.
drip here? You know what I mean? Every 3-4 weeks.
If Corbell is WWF, he's WCW. They're in the same game. They're just doing things differently.
You're 100% right. 1,000,000% right. No, 100. That's it. But I really wanted to emphasize that.
Rich, you need to do what you said you were going to do on the show.
What?
You said that you was going to stand up for this subject and be the spokesperson.
I did?
How? Yes, you did.
When did I say this?
You said that you could do it better than anybody.
To promote this cosmic hoax?
No, to be. You said, fuck MUFON, fuck Stephen, not literally. All of them. You said that you could be the one to bring this home.
Disclosure?
Not disclosure, no. You didn't say, no, I'm not going to put them words into your mouth. I can't remember. You might have been high. I was driving while you were saying it, but you did basically say,
that was earlier today?
You would say, no, this was like the other day. I was listening to a show.
Oh, God, I don't remember this morning. What did I say?
You said,
I'll remember if you
something about somebody needs to, because there's so much bullshit out there, and we don't know who to trust.
Right.
You're like, well, trust in me, and I could bring this. I could do this and be the person that is the public speaker. You were talking that's it. You were talking about like the Fox News and this, that, and the other, and you were saying that they need to speak to one of us, and that you could be that person.
Speak to the public. I should be the guy.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that because
don't give me those goalpost fingers.
Come on, kick the football, man. Come on, I made it out of paper for you. They're not going to do that because they're going to try to, peg hole you into some sort of narrative. They're going to tell you can talk about this, you can't talk about this. So not one of us would be a good representative for ufology in the way that the higher ups or the fear narrative folks would, and enable us or utilize us for that purpose. It'd make no sense. Go ahead.
Which is why Tucker Carlson never had me on, because they have a narrative that they want to push, and that's this threat narrative and government only, because if it comes from the government, it's more credible than from the public, which has been a goof for the last 74 years. That's why it's this way right now. I think that's why they didn't want us on. Want me on. But I told them, you're only talking to half. Do you think I can go there on Fox and actually say, look, people are being abducted? They're going to go, whoa, wait, what? And, Tucker's going to say, abducted? Who's abducting who? Aliens. Now we're on a whole different tangent that Tucker knows nothing about. It would be an impossible thing they would have to tell me what we're going to talk about. They would have to. They have to control it.
Yes.
What am I going to do? Break out? I mean, I could at the end of that and said, hey, let's talk about abductions, like Alex Jones just starts yelling shit because, they told him he can't. I would do that if I got silenced that way.
Yeah, but even in a live production, a live show on the news, there's a specific buffer of lag that covers if something like that happens. They edit it just before it hits the air. So even if you were to get it on the air in some way, slip it on, it'd be the last public performance that you put on. Let's put it that way.
But I could tell you my channel would blow up.
Yeah. Well, just think about you, man. Was it the police dog trainer?
Always thinking about that.
Was it the police dog trainer that was talking about training police dogs, oddly enough? And at the very end, and he said, oh, and by the way, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And that was the end of his thing. Hero.
That was awesome. He just snuck it in there. I love that guy.
What is weird? What, and you go on, Rich, what are you going to say?
No, I didn't. Nothing, really.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't like to be that guy.
I forgot. Go.
Okay. No, when you were talking about that horrible man, but what is interesting with these both groups of people, like the Greers, the Mellons, you know, these people that they work with people that are, you know, in high places, and some of them are related to people that, you know, that have a lot of rumors.
Yeah, they go to islands.
And that for me is a little bit scary. You know, how do you trust these people? But
Well,
then there's always one, isn't there? There's always one on the street, that dirty little mother, you know, that you just wouldn't want to let your children go out and play.
Yeah, always trying to get his fingers on aliens.
It's just, there's so, I mean, Stephen's saying that all these people are corrupt, and that they all, you know, that they're in with these families and this, that, and the other bit. It's just a lot of name calling.
Let's be honest here. Yeah, Stephen Greer is massive in the.
He is massive. He's a big guy.
But in our way, he's not as big as he used to be. I think he needs to sort of cycle out, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, as he was jacked, and he needs
to grow a beard.
Yeah, he's jacked. He's gone back on whatever supplements he was on. But anyway, God, I've derailed myself now. When you get somebody like Nasty Island Man that can have that happen to him in a prison under 24-hour surveillance, if there's people out there that can get rid of people that easily, if there was anything Greer could say that was of any danger or to anybody, Greer would be a smear. There would be he wouldn't be here anymore. That was almost a wrap.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. A lot of what Greer's saying must be, and I've thought about this too, a lot of the whistleblowers that are out there today that are talking at the depth that perhaps Greer is talking, to me, again, some of these things that are being put out must be sort of passe to those who would try to quell something like that. There must be higher information that they're now focused on, wherein we're getting the crumbs, essentially. And it goes back to the way of technology, and I've discussed this before. We've had these conversations, but you know, I think that there is certainly that element. Very quickly, I'm just going to address somebody in the chat. I think, you know, I always thought William Carr was a really nice guy, but he seems to have something out for me. He says, if anything happened to Rich, who would take his kids? I vote Dark Hour. Listen, man, I've got 2 of my own. You're going to put me with 9 more kids, man? You must hate me, brother. No, I'm kidding. That was funny. I had to point it out. It was a good chuckle, man. Thank you.
You know, Carr. Little Lou talks about you all the time.
Well, every time I come over, I always have candy in my pocket, but he always knows before I even get in the door. He's like, candy? I'm like, yes, I have it. And they're Airheads. I mean, Skittles. We're talking about the good ones, not Tootsie Rolls or anything like that. That's why he likes me, man. Come on. Uncle Mike.
It's all about candy. What are you doing to my kid?
Rotting his teeth? Okay,
yeah.
Dental plan.
No dental. He's got fangs.
As long as it doesn't go past his teeth.
What can he do to actually do it? Can he do anything though? Do you think that something that maybe that Greer? Do you think he was told maybe you cannot say certain things that he wanted to say in that documentary, or do you think he just has the rumors and he just has little Chinese whispers, and he was pointing that out in the documentary? Or do you think he has any hard evidence that he just for legal reasons can't put forward, but it was almost like he was hinting at it in that documentary? I love that.
What happened?
I'm jealous.
The thing is, he had Sheehan to help him out, to let him know what he could legally say or not say, I think. I'm not sure about that. Ma? Somebody listening?
Greer also doesn't seem like the kind of guy that, again, I could be wrong, that could stay quiet in way of what he really has to say. So I don't think there's anybody behind the scenes kind of strong arming him. Maybe in the past, yes, you know, but today I don't think that's there.
Well, he mentions that 3 of his friends died, you know, weird, untimely deaths.
No, but wasn't one of those? What was one of the deaths?
Cancer. and I think a car accident.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It was like, my friend died really strangely. How? He died in a car crash. That's not strange. He had a car crash.
Yeah,
You know.
a lot of people every year die from them. Yeah. I don't know if I'm right about the car crash, but it was something like that.
Yeah, it was something. It was something
Something
like
that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but it happens.
So yeah, but so his last documentary, he broke down in tears. This one at the end, he broke down in tears.
Sounds like a pattern. So
I've only seen
what?
the man cry twice.
But
one was about
he died.
people-
Cried 3 of them.
One did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. In Sirius, and the last one, he just did Fifth Encounter, whatever it is.
Yeah,
And-
that was about the friends that have died during this, and I mean, if that is
Yeah, I think he also cried in Sirius.
okay, well,
3 movies.
the tears to me look genuine, and
They
a lot
are.
of people.
I'm sure the real tears, but the bit of me which doubts all this stuff, especially, I would think if he was put the type of person he appears to be, if he was putting a documentary together, especially like with him being quite a big, like sturdy guy, there's nothing more impactful than seeing big sturdy guys be emotional. That's why The Rock is always taking pictures with his daughters on Instagram, because it's I'm sure he's a great person, a great dad, but it's fucking good for the brand as well. And I think that's might be why he has those moments, just to show how passionate he is for standing on logs with people that want to give him thousands of pounds for it.
Kind of well said there, Lee. I had to give you that.
Yeah,
one,
I'm
man.
shocked. It was really good. No, I'm joking, but that was good. No, I'm serious. I'm just saying that was good.
Do you think that Joe Rogan will have, because you're a big Joe Rogan? I know we always talk about Joe Rogan, but Lee, you're a big Joe Rogan fan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Greer will be back on that show and basically calling? Because that's the biggest. That is the biggest platform that he could go on.
He went on
to name these people.
Yeah, he went on, did his stuff. Joe,
I know he's been on before. I know
he was going to get him back on, but Greer what I paid for it. That's why he's never been back on JRE, is because he wanted.
How do we know? How do we know he wanted paying?
Because Joe Rogan said it on one of the shows. He said that's why he's never been back on the podcast, because he doesn't pay his guests.
And nor should he.
No, Greer. You're saying Greer wants to be paid to go on Rogan?
Greer wanted to be paid to go on Rogan.
Oh, I see.
I think it must be true, because if Joe Rogan's going to come out and say that about you on his show, you would come back at that if it was a lie, just for the exposure.
Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate.
Well, it is. So I guess he's not ever. But he's going on Dr. J tomorrow for free.
Yep.
So he's trying to embezzle money out of. Oh no, that's not him. I'm sorry. That's
nope. Yep.
Oh God.
Lou Elizondo.
I gotta tell you,
I found a great picture of Lou the other day.
I'm getting everybody confused. Oh my God, that is unreal. Where's that from?
I don't know. Somebody's drawn
really
it on
good.
the internet. Whoever's drawn that, please get in touch with me.
Me? That is the best. You got to send me that. I need that as my background, or even a thumbnail.
It's great, isn't it?
That's really good. That's on the internet.
That was when we watched the documentary.
I'll send you it, Rich.
Nah, you don't have to. Keep that as that's your own.
When we watched the documentary last night, and Lou was on Fox News, just the way he was sat and everything just sat bolt upright. It looked like next to him there should have been another 4 fingers, because he just looked like a little thumb with a little beard.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's just all neck. That's because he used to work out. He was a pretty buff guy for a guy who's 5'6". So
a barrel he would have been.
Yeah, like a British bulldog.
Yeah.
But so at the same time that people are saying that Stephen's making all these claims, our issue, why we kind of Well, I didn't, but because I'm just that little bitch that'll go anywhere that anyone who pays me, I'll go that way.
Oh.
All
but
right.
If anyone needs to use me, I will lie to my own fucking mother if you want me to.
Whoa.
You're
Wow.
Steve, Lou, if you're listening now, you know, just I don't have PayPal, but just message me.
If you get me on JRE,
I will whoever pays me the most.
Get me on JRE, I'll be the alien.
The thing is here, and this is we kind of like
What's going on?
when Greer said those words about this documentary, we was like, oh, this is interesting. And we already was a bit suspicious about what was going on with the aerial threat. But both of them, one is completely on the side of these aliens, whatever they are peaceful, and it's everybody else is throwing this threat down your neck. Whereas Lou, yes, he has said the word threat a few times, but what got you on board, Rich, is that, you know, he has said that he doesn't know, you know, it could be China, it could be aliens. You know, this guy, he's sticking to his story too. We're only going off our own gut instinct, and we're also going off what somebody else is saying about.
He altered his story a little bit.
Okay, go on. That's interesting.
You almost had it right. It's not easy to remember what I say because I talk in circles sometimes, but he was never saying that it could possibly be one of ours. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's definitely not us. When in fact, it is probably most likely. Probably some private corporation that we can't get a FOIA request for, Freedom of Information Act, because it's a private company. And it's probably one of ours. He never ever would say that. But now he's saying it could possibly be a private organization, a private company. He actually said that. I couldn't believe it. So that's interesting. So if it's not China, it's not Russia, it could possibly be one of ours. That was weird.
But that scares that honestly scares me more than anything. If that is actually the truth, because I hate to say the two words, 3 words, but it ends with a number 3.
Oh yeah, with a WW.
Yeah, that scares the living shit out of me, and it makes a lot of money. A lot of money. And I ain't going to go any further with that because I'll probably get shut down. But the whole threat thing, and I'm wondering why Greer is being tiptoeing around it in that documentary, because Greer, he didn't give us enough at all. It was a great documentary. It was interesting to watch. It kept my attention. It made me smile. It made me cry.
Did you cry?
I did a little bit. Seeing a grown man cry, it makes me weep. I just, there wasn't enough. You know, I wanted to show somebody that and say, look at this. Somebody that's not into the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Look what's going on. Because I've actually said to my family, and it sounds crazy, this. I said, look, if something comes out in the next few months and it's all over the news, and they're saying that there is aliens or there's this threat, whatever happens, do not believe it whatsoever. I said, because it is false. It's all bullshit.
How do you know?
Because that's the feeling that I was getting from it. Rich, that is the feeling I honestly had that feeling when I could see it ramping up, when I could see the stuff that's gone on in the, it was the final straw was the UK. When the UK put it into Parliament, that was like, I was like, holy shit. And I rang my mum. I said, Mum, if something comes out.
Would they put into Parliament?
You played it on your show. They were talking about
right.
They were talking about the aerial threat.
Yeah.
And that they were saying that our close colleagues or whatever they said in the US, have the intelligence in the US knows this, that, and the other. And it was kind of like, I'm like, this is weird.
Mhm.
This is strange. Something is definitely going on. And I still
Something
believe
is going on.
100%.
Yeah. This doesn't tie like directly into this, but we're going through a stage, I think, where like social manipulation or through social media and media, I don't think has ever been as big as it is now. There's there's things happening in the UK. I don't know if you guys know about it, like restrictions being lifted. Don't worry, Ollie. I'll tread carefully. Towards the end of this month. Yesterday, I counted 16 tweets from 16 different accounts saying exactly the same thing. To say that it was just in complete plain sight of just bots that were there to steer a narrative in a certain direction. And it's just crazy. And I don't believe that it just goes on social media, and like there's a bit of me thinks that all this UFO stuff is just another big distraction from other things that are going on.
What could be bigger than the UFO revelation, or the implications
demons.
behind that?
Can't say on YouTube.
The demons.
Gotcha.
Well, Lou's higher ups told him it was demons.
Mm-hmm.
But Greer said it's not demons.
Right.
And to be fair, off the coast of Florida, there does appear to be a portal to hell opened up.
Yeah, but even if they're saying it's demons, what does that again imply? I mean, that a demon is a religious term.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just saying they're nefarious. They're bad beings or evil, or they have no respect for life. Maybe, but there could be a different word that you could use instead of demon.
But Lou said demon, his higher ups, when Lou said, I need to get some access to something, and his higher up boss said, this is when he was with ATIP, and he says, no, I can't do that. Why? And the guy said, Lou, close the door behind you and sit down. And so Lou sits down and he goes, have a drink with me. So they're drinking, and the guy goes, they're fucking demons. That's what happened. That was the story he told. They're demons. And Lou's sitting there. This is what he said on Unidentified, the TV show, season 1, episode 4, last 5 minutes. And he said, I can't work in this place anymore. And that was when he decided he had to go. He knows that he's up against something that is way beyond access that he could get. He can't get. When you're talking about the religious fanatics telling you they're demons and they're in the organization you're trying to work for, man, that's like trying to, kill 2 birds with 1 stone that you have, and using your wrong arm. You're just not going to get anywhere.
Have any of you ever looked into Crowley?
Oh, yeah.
Aleister Crowley?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he I mean, as other than the actual pictures of Greys that we see on like cave paintings, the so-called, he drew the most. If I look at that,
was that Mao? Is that Mao? Was that what it's called?
I think it's called that. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it is, with the pointed chin.
Yeah,
but this guy,
it's a good.
I've watched a few little documentaries about him. I'm not a reader, so I wish I could pick up a book. But
Crowley's stuff is so hard to read. He was a terrible writer.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. I'm a terrible reader, so we might get on.
Nearly impossible.
People said that this guy was evil. That he was an evil man, and his parents were extremely religious, and he literally went to live with his I think it was his uncle, and his uncle showed him how to, because he was dying. I can't remember. He had something wrong with him, and he went to live with his uncle. I think it was something with his lungs or whatever.
Yeah.
And his uncle introduced him to ladies of the night, and he started drinking and partying. And then when he went back home, all the religious stuff he just completely forgot and started to follow the cult. And he searched for it his entire life. He even went to Egypt, but he took all sorts of, and I know Dark Hour and you lived, and probably you, Rich, as well. He took all sorts of, I think he took DMT or whatever, and he said it opened doorways.
Mm-hmm.
But he never saw anything until I think he married his second wife, and he took her to Egypt and he took her to a cave, and I think he was doing some sort of what do they call it? Dark Hour, what do they call it? What's when look at ritual?
I was looking at the chat. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Humming or something. I don't know. He was. People just go watch the documentary on it. But he was doing some sort of trying to worship something, and nothing had ever happened. But his wife saw an image, and she described the image of what she saw, and she pointed out one of the pharaohs, and underneath the description, the number that it related to was 666.
Mm.
And this guy drew some interesting images. But that image there, for me, when they're saying they're demons, I look at that and I see a grey. I really do see a grey alien.
I mean, you got to remember, like Crowley, we think about this sort of stuff now as being like stuff that isn't talked about, but Crowley was pop culture back in the 60s. The
Beatles,
who partied with Crowley.
Yeah.
I think there's even a story, isn't there, about Crowley and David Bowie doing some sort of ritual where Bowie said they summoned a demon in a swimming pool or something like that.
Oh, I don't know about that. I know he talks about it in one of his songs.
Mm.
Wouldn't surprise me though.
Yeah.
It was just a turtle raft.
That was just the kind of guy that Crowley was, though. I mean, he was somebody who began following a very physical path in certain respects when he was younger, but it was intertwined with that spirituality that he eventually cultivated in what we know to be his particular modalities. Today, if he was out, I think that he would be more in line with perhaps a satanic way of thinking, wherein you are your own individual, and you have the right to X, Y, and Z in a physical sense, explore earthly pleasures. But he was a magician too, so he did understand a lot in the way, not necessarily just about energy, but the manipulation of that energy, and even putting people in different vibrational overtones, the way that perhaps men of knowledge of ancient indigenous cultures were able to do. But Crowley was a little bit more on the looser end in respect to certain canons. With his work, he was very much a rebel, even in his own field, which is sort of a rarity. But he also had, again, as we're saying it here, he had these tie-ins with extraterrestrials. He had claimed that he had made contact through his meditations or what have you. And he was kind of painting a picture that was more neutral in respect to belief and good and bad, and just working with what was. He was probably closer in that mentality to our ancient ancestors and how
he was
they
also
were.
A spy.
He was
also a spy. Yeah, a shit one apparently, but he was a spy.
He was also a person, as he was, what he was known for today. He also had a personality, and he had plenty of flaws within that. So, yeah, he was an interesting character to say the least. Very influential, and without him, I wonder what we would or wouldn't have.
The reason why I'm bringing that up, and it sounds a bit out of place, is because Greer always talks about the occult. He talks about these people that are controlling the world, but he's the one that's saying they're not demons, but yeah, the people that we don't trust, they're the ones that are dropping the word demon into it. But what is it?
Yeah.
It's breaking subjects a bit, Rich. But have you look like you're almost on the fence with that, with the whole alien thing.
What do you mean? Like demons?
Yeah.
Because we don't know. We don't know, man. That's all I'm saying. What I think a demon is what Michael said when we first started talking about. It says it's like religion, you know? So I'm not sure where that fits in ufology, but it sure can very easily fit into ufology. And that's why I don't spit it away. I listen to it intently and I try to learn more from, I mean, it's not something I'm into, but, you know, I can't dismiss it anymore. Because a lot of people have had bad experiences with aliens.
A lot of people don't
Yeah.
like to mix it. A lot of people do not like to mix the
No.
word, the whole magical stuff in with ufology.
Because it's too much.
But to me, it's magic. If you look
Yeah.
at what these things do, you know, taking you from your bedroom or, you know, levitating, reading minds, that is magic.
I've always thought that breaking them down into nuts and bolts crafts that we can break apart and build into our own has been humanizing something that's probably much more fantastical than, you know, the next step in stealth rocketry.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh.
We're talking dimensional.
I mean,
And
but
when
you know, you have. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you.
I was just going to say, and if you have, let's say, a being in front of you that has the capability of cloaking itself with some sort of technology or otherwise, and let's say it has negative intentions, wherein it's hostile in certain ways, this could be looked at and called what we understand to be a demon. I mean, it's etheric, it's physical, and it's bad. So you put those three things together, even people who didn't know what they were looking at, maybe they don't know what they're looking at now if they're actually interacting with some of these negative beings or beings that have different intentions than what we would prefer to see. So it might just be a misnomer in respect to that word.
Do you think people who get possessed could be possessed by aliens?
I don't even think that people can actually be possessed the way that it's described. And believe me, I've transversed this particular topic through and through. I think that there's an influence, and certainly if something in the way of a ghost or anything paranormal could influence somebody's energetic field, you're damn right. An alien or even a person with a certain knowledge can influence your field. I mean, it's something on a larger scale wherein, you know, I could come into your house, I shake your hand, and I just, you know, say something that makes you feel really bad. I've already manipulated your field. And again, this can be found in all sorts of different projects that, you know, people were broken down. It starts with psychology and then it goes into the physical and it goes back to the psychology. So yeah, with that being said, you know, there's a lot to consider here in respect to that word and, you know, what that might imply for the particular being that we're seeing.
If anything, you would think that maybe the word alien and thinking of things coming from a different planet are just a modern way of interpreting what we used to call demons. So maybe demon is the right terminology for them because it was what came before.
Yeah,
it's what we know. It's what's familiar.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point too.
But I don't even think that. I mean, we're very stonewalled in our thinking in respect to religion and so forth. A lot of people look back at some of these older world religions and say, okay, this is sort of where things started. This is where cognizance, consciousness, awareness of certain things started because they became engulfed or aware of some sort of higher power within them. You know, we got to go all the way back. We got to look into the point of our history where we didn't have religion the way that we know it today. It wasn't anything organized. If somebody had a set of beliefs, it was based on tribalism. Essentially, it was something within the tribe, and it was compartmentalized within that particular demography or what have you. So, you know, again, we got to look back further than some of what religion has offered us because we're very, very confused when it comes to certain terminology and expressions in the way of the etheric, ufology, and so forth, because this religious aspect just kind of creeps its way in there. It's almost built into the design.
When you say look back further, what do you mean? Years? Decades? 100 years? What do you mean?
Hundreds of thousands of years. What we understand as our evolution now. We could even just take it. It is maybe incorrect as it may be. Go back to the time of Cro-Magnon man, see how that worked in respect to social constructs, tribalism, and did they have a belief system? Was there something rooted in nature in the way that they worshiped the sun because it came up and came down at night? It was something consistent. So it, again, it's not about a central God. It's not about necessarily a multitude of gods, the way that Romans maybe saw things, but it's going back to the core of the individual when they were connected with nature, when we were connected with nature. How did that look? How did we work? How did we describe certain things to each other? It's a social study, of course, and would take years, but
I understand that, but that I don't know if that's something that can be done because we don't have a working image of Cro-Magnon. Cro-Magnon. But they did. They buried their family, I guess, important people to them. So there was some sort of ritualistic thing that they did, for maybe spiritual. But are you saying where does that come from? How do we know? And all that stuff. I mean, it would be a great study. Hasn't somebody done this already?
I'm sure that there have been micro studies or people of interest that have looked into this subject, but by and large, again, going back further than when some of these constructs that we know in the way of belief systems became something more accepted as throughout the populace of a particular culture, let's say, rather than an individual. And the way that we can find these out, again, study and time is what's needed, is through archaeology. When we're going into these petroglyphs and we're going into these interpretations of old world languages where they're using glyphs and other forms of pictures to communicate, it's telling a story. And yes, there again is this idea of belief, but a lot of it back in those times, even Egyptians, with some of their philosophy and their religions, they were rooted in some sort of collective reality that everybody agreed on. You know what I mean? Not necessarily in the fantastic sense, but this person existed. This person had an influence. We now call him divine, but there were all these things that were recorded and documented. So therefore, we're basing our belief system on something experiential rather than being told this is what it is. But my whole point in all of this was to say, looking at these different points in time with different cultures that had different expressions of religion, I'm sure they're still seeing the same thing we're seeing in our skies today, but how are they defining it? Today, we're saying aliens might be demons. Maybe 2,000 years ago, people were saying something different.
I think you're 100% wrong. We're seeing different things than they saw back then. They actually saw UFOs.
Yeah.
They didn't have any flying craft around there. They had nothing to compare it to other than what was in the sky. Exactly. So
how did they interpret it?
Oh, so you think maybe we're seeing the same things now, but we're dismissing them maybe as drones, airplanes, balloons, and all that other stuff?
We're calling them something entirely different because our filter is different.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Do you think that?
Good idea.
Do you think we wouldn't be able to really do the track back until we start listening to people like Graham Hancock and stuff, more of just being like kooks, but taking those missing fragments that we seem to have in the past and piecing them together and trying to work out whether like human civilization has been through cycles before, because that would lend itself to us not really understanding what we're talking about. If like the building blocks of religion or spirituality were put in place like many years ago, and then that civilization collapsed, and so all we've got is the fragments of knowledge that was around then. So that might be why it confuses us so much.
No, that's a good point. That's a very good point, Lee. To do this sort of thing would take years of study. I mean, let's put it this way, even in the way of archaeology, if you're to select a site that you want to excavate and start really researching, you could spend your entire life on that one location and still not make even a dent. Look at America's Stonehenge, for example. Yes, there are 1.5 acres excavated out of the 110 acres that property encompasses, but these are like staggered spots. So it adds up to 1.5 acres. There's all this room in between that, who knows? So it's tough. It's a collective effort. It's not going to come from one person, or even some of these people that you're mentioning may contribute to the overall conclusion that we come to or resolve, if you want to look at it that way. But it has to be a collective effort, because we simply, as one person, don't have enough time physically here on Earth to come to our own conclusion on our own.
How long does Greer say they've been here for?
I don't know.
Good question.
Eons? I think he says eons. It's one of his words.
So, if they've been
yeah.
visiting this,
They're not extraterrestrials, then, are they? If we're honest, if they've been here that long,
maybe
Why
they
not?
created it.
well, because if they've been here for eons, how long do you have to inhabit somewhere before you decide that you're from that place and not the place you came from?
That's a good
Yeah, but
question, too.
like I haven't lived in New York in 40 years, but that's where I'm from.
It's not an eon, though.
Do you think
It's world eon.
Do you
I
think
know.
Do you think they used to get closer than what they're getting now? So back
Yeah.
in the day, do you
yeah.
think they used to get a hell of a lot closer and be a hell of a, because there wasn't jack shit that we could do, and they knew that we wouldn't know what it was. You think
No
that
atomic bombs, no missiles.
if we went back 300 years, or 400, whatever, even 200,
Yeah.
and somebody would see something in the sky, and do you think they made? I mean, there's that. I think it was over France or Germany where they're all in the sky and there's a painting. Do you
The
think
black and white dots.
Yeah. Do you think they made it that obvious? Then they just used to
Yeah,
just.
I do. There were no cameras. There was no way they could keep that evidence other than drawing it. You know what I mean? There's nothing to document them. I think they know what they're doing, these little aliens.
Because
They know what technology we have, too.
Of course.
When we started to get better quality camera, there is some older pieces of footage. A lot of the older pieces of footage, you can see what does look like quite good UFOs in them. But you think now that they kind of realized and thought they've got good cameras now. We need to back off. We need to
I
get.
don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so, because I think they've been following our technological progression. In fact, if you were to ask me, I'll straight up tell you, I think they influenced it. I think a lot of us here can agree to some degree that there has been that element, at least, to be looked at and considered. I think they've always been brazen, but again, I think a lot of what we're seeing in our skies today is back engineered crafts. Again, I've said it before, 80% of what we see is us. The other 20%, let's say, and maybe it's even smaller of a percentage, is extraterrestrials either consciously allowing us to see the craft, whether they're interacting with people. A lot of people have explained that there has been interactions from the ground to the sky, not necessarily direct, but they're there. Or, it's something else in the way of a mistake. So somebody didn't cloak something right, or one of the operators. We think about these particular species as being infallible, perhaps omnipotent in certain respects, and especially omniscient. And they very well may be none of these things. The way that you grow up and you look at your parents, you think they're omnipotent, they're omniscient, they know everything. You get older, you realize, no, they're actually just another person like me, and I'm a person like them. We might get to that point with some of these extraterrestrials, wherein, again, they're following us. They're very closely watching every step we make and are very calculated in their interaction with us. Even, many years ago, I think, where some of these interactions were recorded or brought into folklore, verbal or otherwise, they have a very designed interaction when it comes to us. And again, it's really in the way that a parent looks down and says, okay, they're going to make certain mistakes. They have to learn what hot is. So I'm going to let him touch the burner once. Now, if you take that burner and you start burning the shades in the house, and you make a hole in the floor that the house starts on fire, that's like us playing with nukes, and the way that perhaps it affects, these extraterrestrials. Okay, to a point, we'll let you play in the sandbox, but you want to hurt yourself a little bit, that's fine, you can do that. But if you try to take out the whole town, the whole house, whatever it may be, then we have to step in and intervene a little bit. We're still not going to guide you. We're just going to truncate that action. We're going to take that missile out of the sky. Now we're going to leave it up to you. What do you do next? Like they said, like Greer said, a warning.
Yes. So, Dark Hour, do you think Greer's right by what he said in that documentary, and he said it in another documentary as well, that when we fired that first nuclear missile, it triggered something?
Absolutely.
I think it's, yeah,
Yeah,
but
it
do
went
you not
into
think-
their dimension, he said.
Okay,
Yeah.
but they've
Went through the
been
letterbox.
visiting us for eons. So they've
Absolutely.
been here a long time, but not paying any interest. It's just almost like they just come and have a little look every now and again. But then they thought, holy shit, they've lit a fire.
I agree with that statement. I mean, simplified, but I agree with that.
It does. Like before, when I said I find his whole CE5 thing a bit culty, it does make them that sort of like the deity, doesn't it? If they swoop in and save us from nuclear war, it fits the cult mentality.
It does, Lee. I just don't get what Stephen's saying when he says that they're going to get weapons in space and they're going to start shooting these ETs. I don't know how we would remotely even dare to do that. You know
Yeah, I
what?
don't agree with that.
How did he say? I don't remember the context.
I don't.
So he that's what he said when he first introduced. That was his reason for putting this documentary out.
I can't remember.
To stop weapons in space.
I mean, there is that really cool video, isn't there, of that came out years ago of the like what looks like the little UFO, and then something shoots after, and it goes off.
It dodges it.
Yeah, and that
I think
that looks like someone was trying to shoot something down. Rich isn't buying it.
There's no way that's ice crystals. And nobody ever talks about the other 5 objects in the background that drifted that way when that supposed weapon went off. It was firing of the rocket just to keep it in orbit. That's all it was. It was just
sorry, go on. What it was all
it's just silliness. I mean, people want to believe it because they say, "Oh, it went right in the path." I'm like, yeah, but other objects move too. If there was this one UFO that dodged that thing that came up from the bottom, why aren't they talking about the other 5 objects? Nobody ever talks about them. Look at all these other UFOs around here. Nobody says that. They're only focusing on the one. If it was really UFOs, really a big UFO, then what were the other ones over there? Invisible? Why is everybody who's ever talked about that video never mentioned the other objects that moved? Because it doesn't fit their belief system. They want to believe so badly. They'll make ice crystals be UFOs. Sorry.
Because if we've got that technology, somebody's got the technology to shoot down an alien craft. Yeah, I'm going to say UFO a bit. It annoys me when people say shoot down a UFO because it's just an unidentified flying object.
I think you'll find that's UAP.
UAP, yes, thank you, Lee. Yeah, that's the correct term.
If you're talking about military, yeah, and NASA. Mm-hmm. True, Lee's right.
If someone has the technology to do that, at what point did they get the technology, and why do we not see evidence of them using that sort of technology in wars?
Because it's not real. It was a rocket being dispersed. So nobody's got that weapon. That's why nobody has a giant laser weapon. Nobody does.
So you think Greer's wrong with this?
Okay.
Just because they have the technology doesn't mean that they're going to use it in every battle. Maybe they're waiting for a specific purpose or time that they would employ that, because not only divulging it, but pulling the trigger is going to have such an incredible impact that they're not going to be able to cover shit up anymore.
Yeah,
and it may only work in space.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
If a country, I think if a country's got these things that are like Tic Tacs, I would say that you would have Russia, which would have something similar, China, which would have something similar, possibly India as well. But that means they're using them anyway. You know, it doesn't mean we'll see them like zipping around everywhere. Wasn't the stealth fighter mothballed when it was rolled out and shown to people? You know, when that was unveiled as an aircraft, it was decommissioned. So there was obviously something better. And basically the same thing happened with that stratospheric spy plane. You know, the big thing that looks a bit like Thunderbird 2.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the same thing we found out
I
about
even
that.
got a
today.
pilot. Has that even
Yeah.
got a pilot, Lee?
No, I don't
No,
think
it's
so.
just drone, isn't it?
But we
Yeah.
found out about that, and that had been doing its thing for like 5-6 years.
That's the thing that looks like it's been sellotaped together, doesn't it?
I think it looks like a white Thunderbird too.
That with sellotape on it.
The sellotape didn't jump out at me.
Looks like it's got gaffer tape on it. You know.
Oh, it's all strips. It's like strips.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
The only one thing with the Tic Tac UFO that and it got mentioned in that documentary where they were showing the two little boys that had spotted this egg-like craft, and that kind of related to me with the Tic Tac. But they showed the same image or same artist impression of the Lonnie Zamora craft.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Tic Tac.
Yeah. I still. I mean, I know you're going to say, well, what else could you use? But if you've got a vehicle that can transition between air and water, can go from sea level to space within a second, I do not believe it has a ladder on it.
Yeah. And,
it is if you're back engineering it.
Maybe. But I mean, I don't believe you've got all that technology, and then before you get out of it, you hoof the ladder out the side of it.
And they were wearing overalls.
Yeah,
overalls.
That's just like common sense. You don't want to get oil on you. Clearly, it uses oil.
My bad. That's so funny. And they're also little people, like not aliens. I think they use actual little people scientists to fit into the alien crafts.
Do you guys think that Greer does speak to all these presidents like he says that he does? And he briefs them?
No, he says he's briefed presidents, but it's somebody else that's delivering the message. It's his briefing.
That was my misunderstanding then.
Yeah. I asked that question. I found that out too.
Right.
By the way,
go on. No. I can't remember what
it's just a thought I had. By the way, all those who may wonder whether or not we have some sort of laser technology to, influence certain things on the sky, let's talk about Tesla's death ray for a moment. No, it's never been found. It's never been proven to exist, but he had the schematics for it. He had the idea. He was talking about it. So there had to be something there in the way of reality. So that was a long time ago. And we all understand that his papers were dispersed in many different ways after his death in very mysterious ways. We've talked about it many times. So possibly the hands that had that particular schematic said, okay, we can do something more with this. And they began developing it to what we're seeing today with the ease of perhaps a laser pointer has enough power to shoot something out of the sky like that. We don't know. But again, we see in our history some of this technology being mentioned in the past. So it's possible.
Wasn't it Donald Trump's father?
John Trump's grandfather. Donald Trump's grandfather.
That's it. That
was part of that. Yeah.
He bought all the documents.
John Trump.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. There were 40 suitcases worth of stuff. 40, cases of stuff. All disappeared after he died. The death ray, if real, he was creating Wi-Fi basically as well, and they dismantled it. And I think it was working at one point. That big tall thing that he had. It had the ball at the top, typical Tesla-looking object. What was that thing called? That big tower?
Tesla coil.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it was out.
No, it was something else.
I think it was a picture of it in front of a building. It looked like it was 10 stories tall.
I forgot what it's called as well.
I don't know if it was a depiction or a real picture, but apparently it was dismantled. And never mind.
Didn't he also have something to speak to the dead or the astral realm?
He thought he was speaking to aliens.
Yeah.
Yes.
He thought he started getting messages out off-world, but nobody knows what it was.
Where did this Venusian connection come from? That's what I'd like to know more about. Where did this connection with Venus and Tesla come from? It's been mentioned.
Oh, right. Yeah. We did a report on that for Third Phase.
We did. we did.
Isn't it where Bezos wants
While
to go
ago.
with Venus?
Yeah. Was he a Venusian? That's amazing because wasn't that just on Third Phase? Didn't they just do a rehash of that? Yeah, where he was apparently some adopted child that was given to them by Venusians, people from Venus. And nobody's living on Venus on the surface at 9,000 degrees, whatever it is, but 900. But who knows? If
It was
they're underground.
interesting. It was interesting when he said about the race card with the aliens, so that people are racist
Yeah, that was good.
against. So depending on what the alien looks like, what I want to know, and I don't know if anybody even knows the answer to this. What actual species of aliens does Greer say actually exist to his knowledge?
I don't
know.
See,
I mean,
nobody does, Stephen.
the-
Nobody knows these
The
answers that we
artist
need.
impression of that craft had like what you think of as the little greys, didn't it? But I thought that the minute the race thing came up, I thought, oh, wow, what a way to try and tie your documentary into like current public consciousness is to racialize aliens coming down.
Speciesism, I think, is what he mentioned. Speciesism rolls off.
I genuinely think if aliens landed in spaceships, it would be the first time in probably the last 20 years where we looked at something and didn't fucking think about what its pronouns were. We'd have more things to worry about.
I'd be interested in trying out some alien cuisine.
Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, well,
I'd watch you. I'd watch you first.
Yeah, I might sit with Lee on that one, depending on what it was. It smelled good, maybe, you know, depending on how hungry I was, I guess.
Tastes like chicken, I heard.
You know what I'm saying, though? They all speak about these different species, but none of them. The Greek, I know Dave Icke does. I speaks about the reptilians, but you know, Greer doesn't. He speaks about different species, but he doesn't tell us what they are.
For some reason, I think he does mention it, but I can't remember.
I can't remember ever hearing him.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've ever heard him say the Greys.
I don't know.
I think I maybe heard him say the typical Greys, but I've never heard him like say that this is a species.
I thought he mentioned the tall whites one time. I'm not sure. Does anybody in the audience know?
I mean, all the only thing that he's shown us is this Burns victim again, and these,
and Peter Pan.
I mean, Peter Pan.
I can fly.
The one on the kind of like the golf tee is the best one for me. The little angel.
Golf tee.
Well, this one's interesting though.
What's the most interesting? It looks like an angel.
Sorry. What's the one on the left though?
It looks like it's a picture of some tissue in somebody's pocket, like someone's just taken a picture inside there.
Yes. It does look. Yeah, a drunken pocket photograph.
Or like an interesting STI.
I will say
like
I will say that the one on the right is very interesting to me because it's actually reminiscent of what people have expressed in the way of what spirit actually looks like. So, you know, while we're sitting here in these physical bodies, when we pop out of them, supposedly we're sort of a ball of energy of sort, but there are these concentrated points of light. Again, this is in the way of observance that sort of make up this formless figure that is the spirit. So that's interesting to me. Maybe there's a continuity there, maybe there isn't, but it's definitely something to mention.
It's also reminiscent of a phoenix as well, isn't it? Which is, I've thought that when you see auras too.
A little bit.
Definitely. Yes.
But
he's
I'm
basically
not having the dancing one.
What, Jack Nicholson? No.
You're
If
right.
you take the head off it looks like a frog. If you cover the head with your foam, it looks like a frog in midair.
Oh,
I'd love to have been there. Like I'd have loved to have seen the Photoshop session when they pulled that image out of the noise.
Mhm.
I bet there was some awful creative editing went on there.
But look at the forehead. Oops, it's gone. There it is.
But what?
Yeah,
He's got a third eye.
I know. I was just gonna say it. He's even got like a little diamond on his third eye.
And he's
He's
wearing a
actually
little
got a fourth one or a blowhole.
It's a little guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But why
Yeah.
isn't anybody screaming pareidolia looking at this? Why isn't anybody
know.
saying that?
When you
Yeah.
look at the whole picture, it stands out.
What if he was right? What if he was right about this little anaconda
Yeah, I doubt
creature,
it.
and that's it?
Yeah, I doubt it. But that's why he uses them.
I doubt it too, but I'm
Still
just trying to
though,
what if.
isn't it?
Nobody knows, except they did look at the body, right? That little thing, and said it's a human. No?
Mhm.
Was it a monkey? Was it a
Yes,
monkey?
yeah, they did,
It
but
was
like
human.
I said, I did
Human.
I did a video about this.
Yeah, I thought so.
Like Stephen was really pissed off with the paper in his hand, and he was reading the report, and he said that that Gary Nolan had literally left Stephen with the specimen, taken it to TTSA, and then TTSA put it out as being a fetus.
Is that how it happened?
That is exactly how it happened, Rich.
Wow. When was this?
The drama.
2016? 2017?
I can't remember. I'd have to look up the video.
Probably around when they first-
2016.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I
think
can't
it's
help
20.
feel though, if that was a fetus, somebody could have just gone and like to a grim laboratory somewhere and gone, well, here's exactly the same thing in a jar.
Well,
You know,
no, apparently-
right.
no. So the actual report from Gary Nolan was that yes, it is a fetus. However, it had so many different abnormalities at birth that was so unique that we could the chances of it happening were like 1 in a million or 1 in a 300 million or whatever. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So what's the chances of all those things happening and it being preserved?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the chances that Greer's right? And that is an alien. Do you remember that show in the 70s, The Little People? Was it The Little People? Oh no, Land of the Giants.
See, I don't know enough about biology, but that just does not look like a fetus, does it?
Mm-mm. Nope. It doesn't, but until we get it, see, the problem here is, you have academia that's supposed to be supporting, but actually gets in the way and falls underneath a certain narrative. So it's almost pointless to give it to some of these people because we're looking to them for credibility, but what they find, they're not going to tell us if it's outside of the realm of what's accepted. It's unfortunate. And really, again, we get into that word again, stonewalled.
I think I've worked out what it is.
Yeah.
It's Prince. It's got ribs removed.
Or share. Aw, poor Prince.
God rest his soul.
Isn't it only a foot tall? How tall was that thing?
It's about that size.
Have you
6
ever met
inches?
Prince in real life? You've only ever seen him on, maybe Prince is a tiny alien. What was?
He could.
He could have been an alien.
Well, he could have been from Space Jam, the way that Dave Chappelle talked about his basketball skills.
True that. Funniest episodes.
I think with this, we would keep going round in circles with this question.
Yeah.
It is one of them. Was it enough what Greer did? No, it wasn't. It was a great documentary. It was entertaining, and it was a nice bit of drama for the UFO community because we like the drama here on Alien Addict. But
it was good entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did walk away disappointed a little bit.
Yeah. And
because I wanted more. I wanted dirt. I thought we were going to get, and I keep getting animated, but that's what I was told we were going to get. Oh, some of these people are going to be pissed. Nothing.
And it's not necessarily that we want one to be right and one to be wrong. It's that we want to know who to actually trust. And at the minute, I can't trust anybody.
Who can you trust?
Well, you, Rich, because you're going to be the man to stand up for everybody, apparently. I'm gonna find that clip, and I'm just gonna play it and
I
then
can
play it in
do it.
slow motion.
To stick over some music like the inspirational Rogan quotes.
I said I wouldn't do it. Rich, but I'm gonna do it.
Do whatever you want.
So before we go, well, you don't have to say anything. If you just say no, you know what?
Go ahead.
I'm not ready to say anything.
Oh,
But
I'm ready. I'm ready whenever.
So certain people have paid interest to me in the past, and I get a message today, and a certain person is paying an interest in what you're doing.
Oh yeah, who's that?
Mr. Tyler.
Tyler Glockner?
Yes.
Are you serious? I am.
He hates that. He hates
That's
it.
not cool.
Of course he does.
Actually, it is true. Tyler messaged me 3 a.m. and wants to talk privately. Yep. Huh?
On Discord, is that right?
I didn't hear you. You cut out.
Discord is
On Discord. He wants to do a Discord privately. And I messaged him again explaining why I would agree to that. And I really sent him a pretty good message. But he was like, I see you posted another video featuring my name to get views. Yeah, like that's why I do it. As a matter of fact, Secure Team 10 does not have the pull it once did when you put his name into the title. It just doesn't work like it used to. Believe me, I've tried. It's only been 8 times over 2 years. That's not a lot of times I've done that. Well, then he says, and then made fun of my voice once again, and then attempted, sadly, to convince your audience how jealous you weren't. And he says, how about this? How about you and me jump on a private Discord chat on my server and have a real talk man to man? No screen recording, no posting to YouTube channel to exploit my name for more views. He's trying to jab me every 3 sentences, you know? Just you and me having a little chat. Knowing you'll probably just take this screenshot here and make another 2-hour video complaining about me and how not jealous you are. You know what the crazy thing is? He posts a couple hours, like 4 hours later, is that I agree with you on many things, and yet you chose to dog me in public. Bad move, bro. I don't do that to people publicly. But you have a nice day and do your thing.
Oh, so this is the actual message you've read out there. Okay. So is this going to happen, do you think?
He hasn't gotten back. I wrote a message explaining him. I told him, I bag on everyone who makes stupid moves, and I posted on the internet. That's what I do, bro. This is the first time you reached out to me. I sent you messages long ago, and you didn't reply. A lot of people agree with me until I talk about them, and then all of a sudden I'm a piece of shit. Ha ha. Anyway, you went public with your life's problems. You, remember? And then I told him how I stuck up for him, how you can't call somebody a hoaxer with 5 bad videos out of 2,500. I said I talk about the good and the bad with everything. I said, you have the largest UFO YouTube channel. Why wouldn't I talk to you about you? Why wouldn't I talk about you and your channel? So basically what I'm saying is, you're the number one guy, and anytime the number one does something, people want to talk about it. Anyway, I said, what do you want me to do? Stop talking about you? You're number one. Elizondo, Corbell, and others in the limelight. I talk about everybody.
That's the thing with fame, isn't it? If you got that, that's what we do.
Yeah, and I said I'm down with talking on Discord. He doesn't want it recorded or anything yet. I know he'll probably record it anyway, but he hasn't replied.
Well, he definitely he's messaged me a couple of times with your name, and then today it was today you got that message, wasn't it? Because he messaged
at 3 a.m.
Yeah, so he messaged me saying about getting in touch with you, and then I went, I'll pass on the message to Rich. And he says, and then he said it's okay, I've messaged him. So yeah, interested. I think he definitely does want that conversation. That'd be interesting.
I don't
I'd
understand.
love to be a fly on the wall.
Why would I do that? Why would I want to have a private conversation with him?
Why
So
would
he
you not?
can. No, but
Curiosity.
What's going?
But why?
It's him
Why
trying to
would he
save
even?
face.
Huh?
I said I think it's him trying to save face. If anything, I mean, you've been out there talking about him, and he's. I don't know why it's taken him this long to come around and confront the issue, if you will. But to me, it sounds like he's trying to save some sort of face. Maybe not just with you, but with the people that listen to you. It's not going to do anything for you to have the talk. I mean, you're not asking him for a sit down. It doesn't benefit you in any way. It would only, do something for him on his end.
It sounds like arrogance to me. I'm a bystander. I don't know. It just sounds like arrogance. Whatever you do, Rich, don't start the conversation by saying "spit it out, Tyler."
On that note, I think we spat it all out tonight. So, who's got a show tonight? Anybody? Leah's your video. Oh, you got a show, Rich. What time is it on? Oh God, I'm so jealous.
2 hours and 44 minutes from now.
And what is he going to be about?
Don't know. Tyler for 2 hours. That's it.
Oh, that needs to be the title of the video. Tyler for 2 hours.
Oh, that's a good idea. And then don't talk about him at all. That's genius.
The thing is, I honestly think, because I have had I think it's been ongoing for 2 years now. I've never spoke to the guy face to face. Tyler, how come you're offering Rich a Discord chat, but you've never said to me, let's have a private chat?
That doesn't make any sense why he would even reach out to me.
Yeah, here's the thing though, Rich. I honestly think he likes the channel. I think you probably make him laugh.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he realized it and he said, do what you do, bro. Have a nice day, because he's like, forget it. What do I care?
Everybody's got an Uncle Dickhead. Maybe you're that uncle, Uncle Dick.
Uncle Dick. I'm a UD.
And Darko, have you got a show tonight?
No shows tonight. Just working on some things behind the scenes that will be for things coming. We'll say that. You
can press play on my show when it finishes, Darko, and watch it again for another view.
Oh, because it's archived, and anybody who comes to the channel and misses the live show can go back in Alien Addicts archives and check out any show. Just so you guys know.
Alien Archives.
Turn it into a blog. You like that?
The channel Alien Archives.
You mean when this show ends, I can go back and listen to it again?
Yeah.
You believe it?
So guys,
we're live now, though.
I know, Rich, but
I can't listen to it.
YouTube's been good to us recently, and it does upload almost instantly. So, guys in the chat, if you've just joined this and saying, "Oh, I can't believe I've missed an entire live show,"
it says live.
It is live right now. But if you want,
Rich, any advanced technology can be indistinguishable from magic. You know that.
I forgot. Good. Thank you.
And Lee, is your Stephen Greer? Is it still uploading?
No,
it's 12 gigabytes.
It hasn't started uploading yet. It will. I'm going to start uploading it as soon as I've finished this for bandwidth purposes.
So this is a full reaction video.
Yeah. So tomorrow morning I did like a watch along of Stephen Greer's documentary with my friend Susie, and it was really funny.
And she hates UFOs.
To be perfectly honest, she was more in than I thought she'd be. But basically, I thought going into it, she was the sort of person that doesn't even believe in her own shoes, let alone aliens. But no, it was good. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
So all the links for these guys are below, people. I thank you all for watching Alien Addict. Some might say that I provide warmth in times of need. I provide moisture and liquid refreshment.
Wait, I have a question for you. Go back one
Yeah.
picture. The phone one. Does that come on an actual, or is it just a sticker you put on your phone or your case?
No, it's. I don't
Is it a
own one,
case?
I'm not
Yeah, that's
stupid.
a good
I won't
question.
buy my own shite. So no, it is.
Shite.
No, I would buy one for my phone, but I don't think they make it for the iPhone Mini yet. I'm not sure. I've got the Mini.
But is it a case or is it a sticker? Is it printed
an,
on the
no,
plastic?
it's an iPhone rubber case.
Oh, it's an
Okay.
iPhone. Oh, no, I can't
Okay.
use it yet.
No, or Samsung. I think they do Samsung. I don't know what they do. They do
So, but
loads of
it's a
things.
That's
case.
what I got.
It's what they call Teespring. So basically, I upload.
All right,
the
I'll go
image,
check it out.
I upload
That's
the image,
interesting, dude.
Yeah,
and they put it out.
I like that.
Yeah, Corbell and Bob, they love them.
Oh,
There you go.
which are the aliens?
It's wearing thin that now, isn't it? It's wearing thin. It's where even this is wearing thin. No, it's not.
Oh,
There you go.
Never,
that's the
ever.
best one of them all, actually.
Stephen, we love you. But to use another prop, because I feel like it. Guys, if you've liked the video, put the thumbs up. And go check out the guys below. I'm Alien Addict. Good night. God bless. Normally, it's a bit awkward at the end because I look how to end the show. And mind the bugs don't bite. Good night.